oftentimes, like, I've been told, do you want your daughter to die?
Lydia Greene wants to change how we talk to parents who are hesitant about vaccinating their children.
Obviously, I don't want my daughter to die. That's why I'm afraid of vaccines. Like, someone has convinced me that that can cause irreparable damage.
Greene's 3 kids are all up to date on their vaccines now, but that wasn't always the case. She considers herself a former anti-vaxxer parent. The Alberta mother is now sharing her story with healthcare workers around the world through the group Back to the Vaxx to shine a light on what pushed her, a former pharmaceutical chemist, away from medical advice and to the Facebook message boards.
You never forget how someone makes you feel.
Greene's doubts started to take shape 15 years ago after her first child's first immunization, when she wouldn't stop crying, so she called a public health nurse.
They basically brushed me off, and I didn't feel good about it. I felt embarrassed. She's like, you're a first-time mom, it's perfectly normal to be nervous, but I'm telling you this isn't a big deal.
Instead, she turned to a Facebook group that had supported her through breastfeeding.
What they told me, shook me to my core. And they had not only anecdotes, but they shared clips of the vaccine inserts, describing my daughter's reaction.
In her anxiety as a first-time mom, she missed how much of the data being shared was cherry-picked. Many ideas she held until the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, when the uncertainty of the world made her revisit previously held anti-vaxxing beliefs, unable to find scientific papers to back them up.
And I had to sit with that discomfort, and it was not fun, knowing that I fully believed something so wholeheartedly and was wrong.
But Lydia's hesitancy is not alone. Over the past decade, Alberta has seen a slow decline in childhood vaccination rates. And a recent outbreak of whooping cough in the southern Alberta zone shows what's at stake.
So we have a continued amount of work to be able to get those numbers higher and ultimately protection higher within our population.
Dr. Chris Sikora says there was a dip in childhood vaccines here in Alberta at the beginning of the pandemic, but that gap is starting to close. But addressing long-term hesitancy will take time.
Starts with listening, engaging, and if someone is willing to have the conversation, I think that's overall a good thing.
If somebody would have explained it to me then, I think I wouldn't have panicked so much. Instead of saying, oh, that just happens all the time, it's normal. I think if they would have walked me through hey, have you ever had a tetanus shot? It's quite painful. So your daughter is probably having a reaction to the pain she's feeling.
Greene is now in nursing school with the goal of working in public health to help other parents like her.
This lifestyle that mothers fall into is driven by anxiety, and it's a really lonely place. I talk because I hope if they're at that point where they're just ready to let go and just, it's okay. I want them to know it's okay, and nobody's gonna come out and go, see, I told you so. You're not gonna lose everything. In fact, you'll do nothing but gain because you'll be able to breathe again.
In Edmonton, Carly Robinson, City News.